What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Saturday tournament, and that means today we are playing 3 games with the deck in the tournament section of PTCGO, and hopefully we can win all 3 of those games, getting a trophy and some packs for us for online here. And this Saturday, we are going to go over one of the most hyped decks for standard and expanded, and we've already covered this in standard, and we're going to go over it here in expanded. And today is going to be a Vespiquen Flareon deck. Now, Flareon is a deck that we know last year did well. It won the regionals, made cut. I think it made cut at nationals. I could be wrong though. I'm not sure how great it did at World, but it was a deck all year long that people played. I know it won a lot of cities for sure. But Flareon has the attack Vengeance. This tag does 20 damage and 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. We've seen this before. You just get a bunch of Pokemon in the discard pile, just kind of throw them away, chunk them in there, and you use Vengeance to take a knockout there. And that's kind of the point of the deck. That's all you really need to know here. But Flareon does have some new friends here in Expanded, or in this new format of Expanded here. First off is Vespiquen, and it's weird because this deck is more like Vespiquen. Like, Vespiquen is the main attacker, and Flareon thrown in there. Vespiquen here has Be Revenge 20. This attack does 10 more damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. Same exact attack here, except it has... they both have 9 HP, right? Oh no, Flareon has 100. Vespiquen has 90. I guess Flareon can stick around and not be poisoned for 3. Vespiquen can be knocked out by poison in 3 turns of the Verbank, while Flareon can only be knocked out in 4 turns, or 4 like in-turn phases, I guess is the only difference here. But Vespiquen has free retreat here, which is great, and its weakness is fire, which fire is really nowhere except for Flareon, but Flareon should already just one-shot you as is here. And it also does have your first attack here, Intelligence Gathering. If you don't have enough for a knockout, you could just Intelligence Gathering, draw more cards from your deck into your hand, draw to have 6 cards there. But the main thing here is, Vespiquen does have free retreat, which is great here. And you're, like I said, for the most part, you're going to be attacking with Vespiquen, because Vespiquen makes it where you can hit Toad. When you play this deck in last format, you played Flareon with Leafeon, the Plasma one, to actually knock out Toads. But this time around, you actually have, I guess, a Vengeance person that is Grass that can actually knock out Toad pretty easily, which is great here. And besides that, we have a couple friends in this Flareon deck, of course. We have Force Shaman here with setup, and this is obviously a card you can either throw away mid to late game, and also early game. You can use it to obviously set up here, draw it, you have 6 cards. Jirachi is an old staple we had here always. Search deck for a supporter card. Turn 1 if you have Ultra Ball. If you don't have a supporter card, you can just put down Jirachi, Stellar Guidance, get out of Juniper, play it, discard your hand, draw 7 cards. I actually played 4 of the Signs of Evolution EV. I know some people play like the split between like the Flareon and the other one. I don't know. Like, the other one has 50. This one has 60 HP. They both have a 1 energy retreat cost. I don't know which one is better. I just went with this EV because that's 60 HP. I'm pretty sure like Raul or Grafton can tell you exactly why the difference is. They could tell you why the difference of 60 and 50 HP is. I don't really know, and I mean, this the poison damage doesn't matter. They're both gonna get knocked out pretty easily. I mean, this one has 10 HP. That's the reason why I'm playing it here. And I guess you could search for Signs of Evolutions. Lets you search for 3 evolutions of Eevee. So here you could get the Espeon, Flareon, and Jolteon, whatever you need. If turn 1 instead of just attaching a Fire Energy and getting a Flareon. I guess you could make it where if you have the Energy Evolution, you could make it where you evolve into Flareon turn 1, making it where it's harder to knock out your starter. But besides that, I don't know. It doesn't seem that... I don't know. We're going to go with the 60 HP one and call it a day here. Now, like I said earlier, usually when you play Flareon, all you really played was... The only evolution you played was not Espeon, Leafeon to help you knock out Toad here. But as you see here, we have 2 other energy evolutions, or EV evolutions here. First up is Espeon. Espeon has the ability Solar Revelation here. Prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to each of your Pokemon that has any energy attached to it. Now this is a big thing in Expanded here, because Expanded there is a card called Excelgor. Excelgor has an attack called Duck and Cover. It does 50. And your active Pokemon is now poisoned and paralyzed. But with Espeon in play, you you can make it where, you know, they're not poisoned and paralyzed because, you know, they're not affected by anything except for damage here, which is great. I think it's a really good one-up tech in it if you do play against a Selgor deck. Besides that, it's just another card you can just chunk in the discard pile. You really don't need it. You don't play any Psychic Energy, so you won't ever attack with Espeon here, but it's just cool to have for against Selgor decks, and that's why we have the Espeon here. Now, we do play a Jolteon here. I talk about later on in Game 3 how you could probably, like, I end up, like, probably want to cut this card. I'm not sure for what, though, but Jolteon has the ability to electric affect each of your Stage 1 Pokemon in play is now a Lightning Pokemon in addition to its existing types. So now Vespiquen is, so now basically what you can hit for is you hit for weakness on Grass, Fire, and Lightning, which can help against Evital. You don't have to discard so many Pokemon to knock out an Evital, but I'm not really sure how great the Jolteon is besides that. But also, it's just another Pokemon. You can discard it. So if you're going to switch out the Jolteon, what you could do is probably switch out Jolteon and Espeon for 2 Audinos. Besides that, I would definitely keep him in the deck for sure. I really do like him a lot here. I mean, just, you know, it just gives you weird effects like the Jolteon. It does have Fruit Treat as well, and the Espeon, you know, maybe you do like play against the Selgor deck and you really need the Espeon. It could come in clutch, so we're gonna keep those in here for today. For Unknown here, and this is a new card from Ancient Origins that shoots, not shoots. It just helps out Flareon Vespiquen 100% here. Pharaoh Letter, you discard it off the bench and draw a card. So not only are you drawing a card now, like you did with Slurpuff, but you're actually discarding it automatically. So you're fueling the Vengeance tag, the Be Revenge, whichever one you'll call it, and making it where you draw a card as well, which is great here. And this is all the Pokemon you could play, or you have in here, but don't get me wrong, you can play so many other cards here. It just depends on what you want to play. The big thing, the only like real card you could probably play that like a lot of people will probably argue that don't have it in here is Egg, Execute. It just makes it where you can Ultra Ball away an egg or something else, propagate back the egg, and do a lot of shenanigans in here. But we're not going to play it right now. I just hate starting with the egg, and my opponent just starts like a Verbic Laser, and I'm like, oh, I guess I lost because I started egg. So forget egg right now. I don't really like it, so we're not going to play that in this deck here. So that's all the Pokemon here. Next up, we have trainers and item cards. First up, a Battle Compressor here. We have play 4 of these. Search your deck for 3 cards and discard them. Pretty straightforward here. You're going to use this to discard a bunch of Pokemon and maybe some supporter cards to use Vespiquen with. Next up is Computer Search here, just for consistency. I know some people might play Life Dew. I really don't like Life Dew, though. I like the ability to search out DCs with Computer Search. That's why we're going to keep in here for sure over Life Dew. 1 Super Rod, shuffle 3 in any combination of Pokemon, and basic energy cards from your discard pile back into your deck. And this is a really good card, because sometimes, I know I forget, I'll actually discard too many Pokemon, and make it where I don't have an attacker, so Super Rod can actually fix that. If you do have to discard a bunch of Pokemon to knock out, like, maybe a Wailord with a Harsh Arm, like you need all your Pokemon in there. After you knock it out, you can Super Rod them back. There's some cool plays you can do Super Rod. Or if you have to like Sycamore early, all your Pokemon away, and then you can Super Rod back your attackers, just because you had to like, maybe you had like a Sycamore with like 3 Flareons and 4 Vespiquens, I don't know, something crazy, and you had to use it or you're going to get knocked out. You can Super Rod them back. So it's just a really clutch card to get back your Pokemon here. For Ultra Ball, discard Pokemon to get Pokemon if you need to. Maybe discard item cards, or supporter cards, sorry. And just get Pokemon out here for consistency here. For Via Seeker to reuse supporter cards here. Now, we do play 1 Blacksmith in here. Attach 2 Fire Energy cards from your discard pile to one of your Fire Pokemon. And I might even consider bumping this up to 2. And the reason why is there's a card called Giratina. If you don't know, Seismitoad Giratina won a Arena Cup in Germany. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name of what the country or what the city was. But it makes it where you can't attach special energy cards with Chaos Well. Chaos Well makes it where you can't attach stadium cards, tool cards, or special energies. So Blacksmith, we can get that around here. We can actually Blacksmith onto Flareon to knock out Giratina, and then against Seismitoad you can just tackle Vespiquen, which we talked about a lot here. And like I said, we might play 2 Blacksmith here, just to guaranteed you can get the Blacksmith onto a Flareon when you need to. Now, we also play 1 Hex Maniac in here. Until the end of your opponent's next turn, each Pokemon to play, each player's hand, and each player discard pile has no abilities. And the reason why we're playing this is there's a card called Archeops, which makes it where you can evolve from your hand. So with Hex Maniac, you can actually shut down Archeops for a turn, evolve all your Pokemon, and potentially take a knockout that turn, which is great here. And maybe your opponent has a Shaman in their hand for their turn too, and you can make it where Shaman doesn't work here. But the main reason why Hex Maniac is here is to shut down Archeops. Without this card, you will lose against Archeops. I promise you, you can't beat it. I promise. Some cards you could consider to get around Archeops is a Wobbuffet or a Forest of Giant Plants. Forest of Giant Plants makes it where you can evolve into Vespiquen on the first turn, and Wobbuffet obviously shuts down abilities that are not psychic types there, so you can shut down the Archeops abilities that way. I don't like it because then you have to run Floatstone and all this other jazz, and it's not really worth it at all. So no, no Wobbuffet in here right now. One Lysander, bring a Pokemon off the bench, of course. One in for Sycamore. We know what these cards do here. If you notice, we are playing a heavy Sycamore count. The end is just in case your opponent does go crazy and take a bunch of knockouts early game. You don't take that many knockouts, you could potentially slow them down by ending them down to 1 or 2 cards. 3 Silver Bangle here. There's some people playing Muscle Band, and I'm like, why? Why are you playing Muscle Band? Your whole point of your deck is to knock out EX Pokemon. Once you get so many Pokemon in the discard pile, you can easily knock out Pokemon that are non-EX Pokemon. I think the max that a non-EX Pokemon has is 150, if I remember correctly. So that's doable. That's really easily there. But with this, you can do 30 more damage to an active Pokemon EX here. Next up is 4 DC and 4 Fire Energy. Of course, the DC is for Vespiquen and Flareon, and of course the Fire Energy is to help Blacksmith to get out the Flareon. And I think I pretty much covered everything you could talk about the deck. You could play Audino as well, as we don't play that in here. You could play a switch card like a Floatstone or something, but turn 1 what you can just do is attach a Fire Energy to somebody, and then next turn use it to retreat. The only the only Pokemon you can start with that you don't want to start with is Jirachi, Shaman, or Unknown. But you have what, at 8 out of 8, 9, 10, 4, 8, 12, 16, 19 chance. So 8 out of 19 chance of starting with a basic Pokemon that is an attacker. But either way, if you do start Shaman, Unknown, or Jirachi, they each have a 1 energy retreat cost. So all you have to do is attach a Fire Energy, and then next turn you can start swinging DC, or start swinging. Or what you could do is just attach a DC on the first turn, like you should, and then attach a Fire Energy to discard at the following turn. And that way you don't have to worry about playing Switch or Floatstone. And if they Lysan or something around, like if they bring another Pokemon up to knock out, then you don't have to worry about them knocking out your only attacker. So who really cares? If they did that, then obviously they're in a bad shape already. So that's why we're not playing any Switch or Floatstones or Escape Ropes or anything, or AZ. So the other cards, like I said, Forest of Giant Plants. You can play Wobbuffet. Trying to think of anything else that I missed that we can cover. You could play Ace Trainer, Teammates. I'm not playing any of those cards right now. The cool thing with Teammates is you could search for 2 DCs right off the back with Teammates. If they knock you out, you can search for 2 DCs. Obviously, there's no room right here. I think everything in this deck right now is a great spot. The only iffy spots right now is this Espeon and Jolteon. So maybe cut the Jolteon for a Ace Trainer, not Ace Trainer, Teammates if you want to, or that 60th card. The 60th card I think is definitely Jolteon, and then the 50th 9 card is Espeon. But I think everything else is pretty much solid in here. But hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said before, this is going to be a 3-game series if you're new to the tournament Saturday. We play 3 games in the tournament. Each one gets their own video, so that way you're not sitting around waiting we play games forever. And, I think it's cool that way. If you like these videos, please let me know. If you're still here, why not give it a like? Let me know you made it to the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and hope you learned something new about Vespiquen Flareon. I think it's a really great deck. It has answers to almost every deck in the format right now. I think the only thing it might struggle with is energy denial, but you got to be smart when you place your DCs now. And if you do that, you should be able to win there. But hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great Saturday, and I hope you enjoyed these 3 videos after this. Alrighty, bye.